I would be thinking about you as I was recovering.
Yeah, that's what I. That's
Game controls. Here, there's app library and widgets on your home screen.
And you said this book, Jack of All Trades, is like based off like just your party promoting experiences. You know, me being the young college student I am, you know, I was in some of those parties, especially my early years at school. Like, so give us a base and a synopsis for those who don't know what Jack of All Trades is going to be about.
So it like the main character, Jack Onovan, which quick funny story. The name came from, I don't know if you remember these stories, but I used to do slang word of the day. So the main character, more times than not, his name was Jack Onovan. So that's why I made the main character of the book Jack Onovan, kind of like the play off that for like the people that knew those old days. But it's about Jack Onovan. He's a reporter at the school newspaper. And it basically has like love at first sight. He becomes infatuated with this girl he has to interview for this story named Bethany. And he's like, Bethany the one, like, you know, beautiful, insightful, you know, just he could really see himself, you know, being with her. So he decides to pursue her. Pursuing her takes him on a venture that he didn't really expect. So his pursuit of her leads him to eventually start throwing parties in order to see her. And initially it's about, okay, let me get with this girl, you know, who I want to be with. But he realizes the impact that it has on the student body, how it kind of galvanizes groups of students together. Because, you know, just from going to my parties, they had all different types of people, whether you were in Greek life, athletes, regular students, Black, white, Hispanic, the whole nine was always at the party.
The whole
which
nine.
I love because that's how the type of person I am. I'm very inclusive. So if you go to any other party in Kentucky, it's like one ethnicity or like one type of demographic. It's very like vanilla. And I thought with the beauty of my parties, I just realized that
when you said
like,
it's very vanilla, white.
No, I didn't even think about that until you laughed at that. Yeah, like it's not only about, you know, what's at the party far as the DJ and the atmosphere that you try to create, but the demographic, I feel, has a lot to do with the energy you emit too. Mm-hmm. Because with anywhere, if you see people that look like you, that makes you more comfortable, right? But not only if you see people that look like you, but if you see a variety of different people, it makes you feel more comfortable to let loose, to be yourself. Because you'll get let's say we go to a party and like most of the people are Black. If you're Black, you feel comfortable. If you're not Black, you feel a little less comfortable, which is normal. You go to a party and most of the people white. If you're Black, you feel a little less comfortable because you like,
hell yeah,
Black people. Now, when you mix all those different ethnicities, you like, oh, I see some Black people. Oh, I see some white people. Oh, I see some Hispanic people. So it makes you feel more comfortable. And then when you see everyone just doing their own thing, you don't feel like you were judged. So like if you see all these different social, you know, classes, you don't feel like you have to be in that one group to belong. So that makes you always want to come back. Mm-hmm. So he creates that type of atmosphere at this school. And then now it's like, oh, dang, like he's popping, like he's the big thing on campus. And it's this frat guy named Brett, whose dad is also the president of the school, that doesn't like that. He likes the school being, you know, essentially when you think about it, segregated kind of in a way where it's, you know, Greek's life. If you're not in Greek life, you don't go to these parties. You know, he kind of likes having this monopoly around the party scene at the school. So him and Jack Onovan butt heads, start this rivalry, and it just takes everything in a whole different type of situation. And then Jack Onovan, as a result, finds himself also in a love triangle with this other girl he has class with. And yeah, everything just takes a turn after that.
So it sounds like you got like a lot of like themes going to be talked about in this book. 'Cause I know you contacted me, you talked in the early process of this book to kind of like get my experience. I know you contacted a multitude of people to kind of get like different experiences, which I think is pretty dope. Cause like I said, you already had the experience yourself from like promoting these parties and hosting these parties, but getting like personal accounts of people that you met and people that you know, and like what their experiences have and like what the wildest things they have done on college. Like you kind of like taking this all into the story. And from like the plot that you just gave out, like you have like a lot of themes you're gonna tackle here. I think it's pretty interesting to do. Like when you was writing all of this and putting all this together from your experience, everybody else's experiences, like how was it for you to like tie it all together into like one story? 'Cause I know when you was talking before, like how you said that when you was writing the book, you didn't really realize how long it was. And like, yeah, and like we doing some research for like other books and seeing how it is, like how some books are. Like, how was it like taking all these experiences and like putting it together to one story? Like, what was that process like for you?
It was hard because, so like I said, when I called you and did other calls to other people, not only to check up on you, but like to hear your experiences and see what type of things that I could possibly tie into the book in order to make it richer as a novel. It was like there was so many great stories and so much information. It's like, okay, how do I keep like the basis that I have, which is already great because it's my experience, which not all my books, but this first book is really, tied to what happened to me. How do I throw other elements of other people that way, we all feel like we're in this story or it's relatable to everyone. So I had to be very selective on what other things I can add without like taking away like the baseline theme. So that part was hard of it. And some of the ideas, like I keep everything in a notepad the note section of my phone. So like some of these ideas I'm gonna come back to a table for later books because they were great ideas. It just, you can't fit everything in one book. I don't want to overwhelm people. I want to still keep the book, easy to follow, even though like my writing style is, dialogue heavy. There's a lot of point of view switches. So you feel very immersed in it. I wanted it to feel kind of like a movie, so that's kind of the part that I really wanted it to feel like a movie because the goal is for it to be a movie or a TV show at some point. So I think that part of it is, the enriching part that you get to hear from Jack Donovan in certain parts of the book. You get to hear what Bethany feels in certain parts of the book. You get to hear about the point of view through, Brett's eyes. So I think a lot of these books, especially if you look at movies, TV shows, most of them are, let's say the lead character is Stephanie. The whole movie is narrated through Stephanie's eyes. Nothing wrong with that, but it's very conventional. And I think where I come in is, I think not only my life, but a lot of the things I do stylistically aren't conventional. So for me to be able to throw in these other perspectives, it makes you not only empathize with the characters, but it gives you a better insight to the whole thing that I'm trying to show you in my story, because you like, oh, dang, now I see why she feels that way. It gets you to, leave whatever first impressions you have at the door and get to really know these characters. And I try to make it so that you want to get to know these characters and that they have depth and they feel, like normal people, essentially.
That's a dope thing too, that you like actually took the time to like not keep it as conventional as you spoke on. I want to get like different perspectives from different characters in the book and like let them tell their side of the story. So that way, as a reader, you're not looking at it from just like Jack Donovan's point of view. You're looking at it from Bethany's point of view and all these other characters' point of view. I think it's really important to do like when you follow like a parallel story structure that way and you kind of like tying it all together and like telling different sides of the stories, because it adds more depth to the characters itself and to the story overall.